following are the words of Lou Civello, president of the Suffolk County Police Benevolent Association.
Police officers risk their lives to protect our communities and keep our streets safe. These officers are the thin blue line that stands between your family and the criminals that would do them harm. We are your neighbors, protecting your neighborhood. Hold the line. Support law enforcement. Stand with the Suffolk County PBA.
The following radio show is live, except for the announcement you're hearing right now.
Welcome back to Your Island Live with your host, Tom Schiliro, on 103.9 LI News Radio.
And once again, welcome back as we're moving right along. As promised, as we do every other Tuesday, we had a little bit of a break, though. We had the holidays falling on the Tuesdays. So it's been just a little time since we had our great guest. Coming up right now is the president of the Suffolk County PBA, Lou Civello. Very, very busy. As you know, we've been reporting on the condition of police officer Brandon Gallagher, a U.S. Army veteran, served time over there in Afghanistan, has served the people of Suffolk County extremely well. He's a hero officer. It was only December 28th, I believe, 2022, a little over 2 years ago, where he was viciously attacked with a knife-wielding suspect. Again, incredible. Brandon Gallagher, how well he has served Suffolk County. And I was watching the press conference with our county executive, and Lou Civello, president of PBA, spoke at that press conference with the passion that I think we all follow, and really follow the words of Lou. And I'm glad Lou's on today just to tell us a little bit about the latest condition of Brandon Gallagher and what we need to do legislatively. Lou Civello, Happy New Year, my friend, and I'm glad you're back on. How are you?
Happy New Year, Tom. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back on with you. I'm doing well.
All right. So the latest condition, I know he's over at Stony Brook Hospital. Dr. Voss, I know, has been a mainstay with help with our police department and the training and so on like that. What is the latest that you can tell us about Brandon? I know when we announced it the other day, that this happened, it was yesterday. Obviously, we announced it. It happened over the weekend. A lot of our listeners are concerned. As you know, Suffolk County loves our cops. You know that. And so I'm glad you're on today to give us an update. Lou?
Thank you, Tom. And let me just say the outpouring of support for Brandon has just been tremendous. We've received messages on social media, emails, phone calls. The community has really coalesced around us and our officer, and I cannot thank them enough for that. So it really does warm the heart, and I know it's a tremendous thing to our membership to know that Suffolk County has our back. Officer Gallagher is really in a rough state right now, so it's very much touch and go still. He is up there at Stony Brook Hospital. The next 24 hours, I'm told, will be very telling. He is on a ventilator currently as he heals from the devastating wounds that he received during that accident. I can tell you, Tom, I was in the hospital that night, and it was a very tough night, both for us and for his family, because we really thought we were going to lose him right then and there. He had lost a tremendous amount of blood. His aorta was damaged, and he was bleeding internally. We had difficulty getting him out of the car. Our MedCat team, our ES team, was on scene within minutes. Yet the car was so mangled and pinned by a tree that, it took over 45 minutes to get him out. The scene was that bad. So it's a miracle that he's alive, and we are praying that we get some good news in the next day.
Yeah, we're certainly going to be monitoring that. We'll put it out, please, everybody. Your prayers to Suffolk County Police Officer Brandon Gallagher. Very much so. Is the hospital calling for any blood donations or anything like that we could put out over the air? Have you heard of anything in that regard?
Not to my knowledge at this point, Tom, but if there is a need, we certainly will contact you, and I know you will get it right out to your listeners, so greatly appreciated.
Yeah, that's important. So, Brandon Gallagher, I read a little bit about his story going back to December of 2022. This is a unique guy. I don't know how else to say it. And he had an opportunity not to be back out on the street again after that horrifying incident back in 22. Yet he chose that. What is it about the spirit of an individual that sees the calling of being, and I'll say a cop, in Suffolk County. I mean, what is that calling? What is motivation here? Because he really had an opportunity not to be there.
Yes, I mean, truly, he embodies the word hero. You're right, Tom. He was stabbed, almost lost his life when he was viciously attacked, and he did have the opportunity at that point to say, "Hey, maybe put it in low gear for a little while." I know that the commissioner would have certainly accommodated that, and he did not. He wanted to get right back out there. He wanted to serve the people of Suffolk County. Much to the dismay of his mom, who is beside herself at this point. I'm sure she would have much rather seen him after he served in Afghanistan, after he was stabbed here in Suffolk County. I'm sure she would have loved to see him take some job where, she would have had some level of comfort to know that he would be safe. But instead, he's been on the front line. He has been on the front line of this fight for these thugs that are taking over our streets, that are doing this street takeovers where they are, doing donuts and traveling in excess of 100 miles an hour and out there, putting the public's life at risk. Brandon was leading that fight out there, making arrests, writing summonses, tracking down these thugs. And unfortunately now, because of these lax laws in New York State, he's fighting for his life. So it's terrible. I'm dismayed and disgusted at what's been done at every level of state government, the state legislature, right up to the governor's office. We need to have some courage and do what's right and start giving these laws some teeth and repeal bail reform, or at least make common sense changes to it, and stop undermining our police officers. Let us do our jobs. Let officers out there like Brandon, who is risking his life, do his job and do our job and take these people off the streets. And when we lock them up, let's crush the cars, let's send a message, and let's keep them locked up. Let's show them that there are repercussions. Right? That's what needs to be done, Tom, and we need some support from the governor. We need some support from the state Senate. We need some support from the Assembly. Do what's right. Let's get it done. Enough talking.
Right. I saw your passion yesterday while you were speaking at the press conference, and it really hit home. I have to tell you, I'm watching this saying, "Oh my God, we've got to stop the talking about this all the time." And I can understand a bit of anger in your voice. It makes a lot of us angry to see what happens. This individual, the way I read it, I mean, his car made contact with Officer Gallagher's car, which sent both of them off into the ditches there and so on. He had a prior, and I think he was on an assault charge, the use of a weapon. I'm not exactly sure, but it came out of New York City. So this was an individual that was known in the criminal justice system. And again, it speaks to the lax laws that we have in this state. And how much more of this are we going to take? How many more Brandon Gallaghers do there have to be before we start to realize that these officers are protecting the people? It's about the people. It's about public safety. It's not about the individual police officers. They are merely our representatives to make our communities the best that there is. And you get frustrated. And I saw when you said that, and you spoke so eloquently about this situation, but about what we need to do in this state, Lou.
Yeah, most certainly. This individual is 100% responsible for our officer laying in the hospital right now fighting for his life. This is an absolute thug, Tom, a criminal who should not be out on our streets. That weapons charge, so that charge for having that firearm out of New York City was the result of a road rage that he was involved in. So this individual got involved in a road rage with a gun, got stopped, got arrested for having the gun during the road rage incident, and again, still out on our streets. Involved in these street takeovers, traveling in excess of 100 miles per hour, knowing that he was going to get pulled over and not caring, basically trying to antagonize one of our officers into, go ahead, try and stop me, right? Again, taking advantage of these lax laws, knowing there are no repercussions, spitting in the face of our police officers. It's disgusting, Tom, and it's absolutely the fault of these laws, and it needs to be changed.
Yeah. And I'm hoping the anger that you feel and that I feel right now, I'll bet on it that the people that are listening right now are feeling the same thing. It brings out a wider universe, so to speak. We just saw NYPD makes an arrest of an individual who hung out between the number 2 and the number 5 subway train, and his MO was he was stabbing people. He stabbed 2 people on January 1 and 2. Then you can go back to October, November. I have a whole list of people this guy stabbed. Lou, he's been arrested 87 times. I don't know in your career. And when you made an arrest and the rap sheet came out, 87 very serious arrests. And yet he kept being free, and he kept possessing a knife, and he kept stabbing people. It's almost beyond belief. And we live in this state that allows that. So there is no surprise that this perpetrator, this thug that Officer Gallagher came in contact with, that we have this happening here. That level of frustration among law enforcement professionals such as yourself and such as the state police and the Suffolk County Police and the Nassau County Police has got a level of frustration when the NYPD could arrest somebody 87 times for attempted murder charges, and they don't have a DA like we have. We got the greatest DA on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. But a DA like Alvin Bragg will take this 87 arrests on attempted murder charges, and they charge him with attempted assault, which is bail eligible, and he leaves. And therein lies the problem. Are our folks up in Albany, the governor, the assembly speaker, the Senate majority leader, our representatives, as you just pointed out, are they going to heed this information? Are they going to finally move in the right direction, Lou?
I pray so. I absolutely pray so, Tom, because it is mind-boggling. How many of these instances, 87 arrests and allowed to be out stabbing people? The incident we had here in Suffolk County where a body was dismembered and dropped in a park, right? But yet the individuals walked free because we couldn't hold them on bail. How many of these incidents that are unbelievable, if you tell them to someone that doesn't live in New York State, they think that you're making it up because it's that outrageous. How many of these do we need before we wake up? I can tell you District Attorney Tierney just announced his reelection plans, and I was there and very proud to be there. And we do have the best DA in the country, and he absolutely is working to get these laws changed because his hands are tied just like ours are. Yeah. We are very, very blessed to have him. He mentioned Officer Gallagher right at the outset of his speech. I know that he is going to work and do his best to hold these people accountable. But how much can you do when the laws handcuff you and undermine you, both as a prosecutor and as a police officer? Right? We need to do the right thing. We need to give our DA the tools he needs to hold these people accountable. And, absolutely has to get done. Thank God we have him and we don't have an Alvin Bragg. But, we can't let DA Tierney make this fight alone. We need to be in it. We need to be calling our electeds. I saw Assemblyman Steve Stern today and had a conversation with him. I know he's working from both, from the other side of the aisle there, both sides of the aisle, where we're finding some common ground saying enough is enough. Like, let's get this done. Let's put political parties aside. Let's work together. Let's make some changes. Keep our police officers safe. Keep our communities safe. I don't want my friends and relatives who travel into New York City worrying about getting stabbed. We're charging congestion pricing now, trying to force people on the trains. Yet you got to worry about getting stabbed when you get on there or getting pushed in front of a train. Enough. Right.
And it's random crimes. This individual that was doing that, he just in one case he sat on a woman's lap right next to her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend gets up. Of course, any guy would do that. He grabs the guy, tries to push him off his girlfriend. Next thing you know, he's getting stabbed. The boyfriend was being stabbed. I mean, this is happening randomly. And you're right. This congestion pricing, which is trying to put more people into the subway system. And then we hear from the MTA that this increase in crime is only in your head. And that was said. I'm not making this up. The MTA said that. The MTA president or CEO, however the heck he is basically saying that the crime wave in the subways is really non-existent. That is so not true. It was a year ago we were on the air together that you were organizing to go up to Albany to articulate the issues of law enforcement and what's going to make Nassau and Suffolk County, Long Island safe and what laws needed to be changed. I know DA Ray Tierney was there and so on. Is that being planned again for another as we get into a new session?
Good. Yeah, I'll actually be traveling back up there, Tom, for the State of the State. So I'm going to be talking to anybody that'll listen about these issues, about our officer laying in the hospital right now, about how close we are to losing him, and about how they are failing him. They are failing us. They are failing every single one of us in the law enforcement community by not changing these laws. And trust me, they're going to get it. My unvarnished opinion up there, and I will be pushing that, as will all of my coworkers and brothers and sisters in law enforcement. We're all going to be beating the same drum, trying to get these things changed. And I hope they listen, Tom. I truly do. And if they don't, when it comes time to vote for these people, let's hold them accountable.
Yes, and we're going to keep underscoring that, because, you get to the point, and I think you and I are on the same page. Enough is enough. At this point here, again, going back to Police Officer Gallagher, that individual that he came in contact with that caused this should not be. That's an individual that should be in the system without any shape or form. And as a result of not putting it in the system, you have another victim. In this case, it was a police officer. And we're seeing levels of victimization today that are higher than ever before because of an individual like this. I'm refusing to put his name out there. And we're seeing that. And of course, the person arrested 87 times. How could that even possibly be? And you wonder about the frustration of our police officers who have to continue to make arrests, to process arrests that result in absolutely nothing happening. It's got to be a whole level of just throwing up your hands and saying, what more can I do?
Yeah, absolutely. And to tell us that the crime wave in and the subway system is non-existent. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Tell the woman who was lit on fire by an illegal immigrant, right? I've never seen anything like that. 25 years in law enforcement, this woman lit on fire, right? People walking by, just watching. Insane. Yeah. Who in their right mind would feel safe in that subway system right now, knowing this?
I don't know about you, but when I hear, particularly women that I know, I'm going into the city, and I'll always ask questions, and I'm going to take the F train. I say to them, don't do it. Do whatever you can. Pay for Uber. I don't know. But I encourage people not to take the subway system, because of what we read about. We care about the people we love. Of course, God forbid anything happens to anybody that you're involved with like that. That's something that many people don't get. Most people don't ever get over that for the rest of their lives, and that's what we're dealing with right now. And we've got to take all of this into consideration. So, we only have a couple of minutes left. What can we hope? Can we hope the legislature will finally give judges some discretion while these thugs put in front of them, whether it's the person out there on the LIE that caused this to Officer Gallagher, or what's happening in the subway system, give those judges discretion? Can we at least see, do you think on the horizon, you speak to many politicians, they come to you hat in hand. So I think at some point they have to respond to this by giving judges more discretion. Just that alone. Do you think we can move in that direction this year?
I pray we can, and certainly, we have been engaging with every one of our electeds here in Suffolk County, but what we need to do is go beyond that. We actually do probably have bipartisan support here in Suffolk for many of these issues, but we need to reach to our friends and neighbors over in New York City and upstate New York, and it's got to come from more than, us in law enforcement. It's got to come from the public. It's got to come from the media. Like, where are the editorials talking about this? Where are the newspapers doing their job, right, and shining a spotlight? When we look at, you can't travel on the subway because you might get stabbed or set on fire. You can't travel on the roads because you have people, doing 100 miles an hour plus, taking over our streets and running people off the road. What's the common denominator here, Tom? It's the laws. It's this same bail reform nonsense where we let criminals walk free, no repercussions, right? It's all the root cause of these problems, whether it's on the subway or it's on the LIE. Yeah. We need to have consequences for bad action. We need a criminal justice system that actually holds people accountable. And it's got to come from the public. Hold these politicians accountable. Start sending letters. Start ringing their phones. And the media, do your job. Start shining a spotlight on this. You know what the truth is. You know there is a crime wave out there. Get it done. Let's make some positive changes. Amen
to that. And wish Police Officer Brandon Gallagher and his family the best from us here at LA News Radio. And Lou, if there's any need for blood donations, we will put it out over the air here on 103.9. So please let me know.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, let's talk to Ray Tierney, our district attorney. We'll be right back.